Alright, well, welcome back. See if I can get this back into focus here. I suppose it's supposed to kind of be at that level because the focus is supposed to be on the miniature right here. But yeah, you can see in the background the boys are well, actually you probably can't tell from the previous one, but we did a lot of work since the last session. So we've got hit them all. They have all their base colors, and then I did a layer of shading, just some Nuln oil, and went back over with the base colors. So probably about as shaded as they're gonna be. We've got all the metallic painted on, shoulders, chest plate, this gauntlet icon they've got, metallics on the weapons as well. We've picked out separate colors on all of the purity seals. The under armor, they've got their little, undersuit, whatever it's called, is all set up. So yeah, they are pretty close to being done here. I let them sit a little while because I wanted to kind of do the finishing steps, or as close as I could on stream. For now, I think that's mostly going to be their eyes. I'm going to try and paint their eyes today, and I also got a long time ago I got this box of special effect paint, which has a variety of sort of effects colors in it, and I got it mostly for the blood, so we're gonna try and paint some fresh blood on their chain swords. Other than that, I'm feeling like they're just about done, honestly. I'm considering the possibility of doing another pass on their leather parts with a lighter brown for some highlight stuff. I don't know that I'm going to bother with any highlighting on the armor. I kind of like the super dark look. We'll see. It might just be one of those things where I do the eyes here, and they're functional, fully functional. All the different colors they should have in the right places, and then over time I can come back and add additional things. Oh, and there is one other thing that I want to do, is try to paint the Blood Angels emblem on them. I don't have any transfers of that particular symbol, so that's not an option, but I would like to not leave the shoulder pads blank. I'm not sure if I'm going to try to do any kind of other symbol on the other side. Usually they've got some kind of representation of their role on their right side, but I don't know if I'm going to do that, just because it's not very interesting to me. So we'll see. We'll see where the pieces fall. I also really want to get a good position with the camera, somewhere that it will capture the mini while I'm working on it, and I'm not gonna get, I'm less likely to get distracted and like move the miniature off screen while working on it. So we'll see. I do think that sometime in the near future I am gonna go out and get some, I don't know what it's called, but the kind of the chunky paint that people use for creating terrain. I'm not gonna lay any like bits and bobs on the bases, I don't think, for these starter box guys, but I would like something more than just the plain black base. So who knows? We'll revisit these guys. I don't know if the camera can pick this up. Oh yeah, you can. So you can see there on his gun barrel, I drilled out that hole, and I've also, oh no, I haven't done the actual the actual barrel hole yet, but I am going to on all of them. I got a little hand drill. I think it's called a wow stick, handheld electric pen drill, and made it pretty easy. Hey, is that a puppy dog? Hi, sweet pup. What are you doing? Yeah, she's a good girl. Just hanging out. So I busted out this big brush, and it's probably not the tool for the job. Although, in the process of painting the other guys, I just kind of did the whole helmet in the base red. So I might use the bigger brush and fill in the eyes with black first. But maybe I don't trust it. Maybe it's a little too big and I don't have that kind of control. So, let's see. You getting cozy with R2 down there? What a gooby girl. Alright, so this is a 1. This is a 2/0. I have no idea what these mean. And it's always frustrated me when really all I gotta do is sit down and look it up. One day I will. For now I'm gonna start with what I know is small and finely detailed. That is gonna be this little eyeliner brush. Now from what I can tell, the mic is working as it should, so hopefully my voice is being transmitted as intended. Paint pots are getting gummed up. Alright, hopefully that doesn't send any paint shooting out of the top. It's thinking about it, I can tell. Yep, there it comes. Stop. So the steps, as I see it, are I fill the eye cavities with black, and then I go back in and do white, just leaving a smidge of black at the edges. Oh my god, they're so small. I have no idea how I'm going to accomplish that. And then finally we'll do a fluorescent over top. I have a green glaze, so they'll have green eyes. So let's see how that works out. Let's start here. I'm not even sure if these should still be thinned down for such a small area, but I'm going to. Just my regular 1-to-1 paint to water. And we'll see how that works. Alright. Oh. Handy. Okay. So we fill out the brush, pull it off for the most part. Oh, Emma pulled you off. Yeah, we just watched Ragnarok the other night again. It's a fun movie. So, see, right now this is kind of, it feels like it's got almost a wash consistency. And it's just kind of pooling to the edges instead of filling the cavity. Now the other thing about this is working on such a small area with, you know, it is itself a detail, not something that has details. I'm gonna have to like wait I feel like a pretty decent time here for each layer to dry properly before proceeding, which I guess that can be the opportunity to try to work on the shoulder pad. I'm not sure what the workflow for that will be. I'm kind of thinking maybe I can sketch out the basic shape with a brown color on the shoulder pad, so it's not crazy dark, and then if I mess up, I should say when I mess up, it should be not too bad to go back and cover it with the bone white that we have on these. Oof. That's all on his shoulder pad. Okay, we got it off though. Boom. They're kind of spooky with blacked out eyes. See, there, I've done the thing. Even when I don't take him out of the camera view, I still somehow put him out of sight. That's okay. It's not like, you know, it's their eye holes. It's not like an exciting thing to see filled with a little bit of black paint. Feel like like I can get better lighting somehow, though. I mean, from my point of view, it's pretty solid lighting, but on camera, perhaps not quite so much. I don't know. Eventually, maybe somebody can offer some feedback in that regard. Okay. Oh, and this is the Sarge. We were formally introduced, I think, in the last stream. Oh, he does have another significant step, and that is the plasma effects on his pistol, which I forgot completely. I haven't really given any thought to what color the plasma will be. Probably just blue, because I like blue, and I'm pretty sure I have the paints for that here already. And it's also very common for plasma, so. But yeah, so Sergeant Solloch, the commanding officer, if he can be called that, of Squad Aurora. Honestly, it's not a bad thing if the black mostly goes to the edges, because that's kind of where I want it anyway. And then we've got this fellow who was the very first, who was our test model, and he already has his eyes. In his case, at the time, all I did was white inside the cavity, and I just kind of filled it up. You can see it. It spills a little. Oh my goodness. It spills a little onto his kind of socket there, the orbit of his helmet. And yeah, I just did that with white and did the wash over it, or the green glaze. So I don't know that doing the black first as I am now is going to make a huge difference in comparison. I might add a final step where I go in and do like a little tiny dab of white in the centers if I can, just for kind of a, that's where the light is strongest effect. We'll see if that's something that feels achievable when the time comes. Just those tiny little details, they're hard. They're hard. So hopefully it'll just be a matter of practice. Look at him, right down the barrel. Boom. Yeah, I'm stoked to get these bolter barrels drilled out, though. I'm not like a, drilling the barrels fanatic or anything, but I do like the touch. It looks nice, and as long as the gun is a reasonable size, like bolters, then I'm all for it. I don't bother with like Tau pulse rifles or anything that have like pinprick sized barrels and shoot energy and shit. I feel like this thing needs like a smaller cup. The Citadel paint pot, this wash cup that I have, is really deep, and I have to stick this whole tiny brush in there to rub the bristles clean on the bottom. And it's just not fun, kind of messy. Alright, so what I'll do while the um, black dries, let's try this leather brown. And I'll draft a chapter symbol with it. Just do some basic shapes, and we'll see how that works, and also try out doing a little bit of highlighting on the leather parts. Little two birds, one stone action. So I didn't do really a whole ton of painting. It was like most of this was done in just a session, and since then about all I've done is I've magnetized the bases of all of the starter box miniatures. Just one little magnet for each of these small guys, and I've got some plastic bins that have a sheet of I don't know if it's steel or some type of aluminum. My understanding is most aluminum is not magnetic, so I'm guessing steel. I don't know. But I got these metal sheets that I just affixed to the bottom of these plastic bins, and now plop those guys in there and they don't move around. They're so nice and secure. Alright, so let's have a look at his shoulder. Oh, now might be an opportunity here to try out some of the features. Of the stream here. I don't oh, that's annoying. I did some homemade engineering to get my... What is going on here? Is this thing dead now? Oh no. The light's not on, so I think my little cordless keyboard might have died, which is okay. It's just batteries. I should be able to get some new ones. Let's see if I can type this from over here without destroying anything. No. Okay, we'll try and get that fixed for next time. All right, so yeah, let's see if I've set my stream up properly and I can do the screen share here without destroying anything else in the setup. Oh, that is not really what we wanted. Let's see. Oh, okay. Properties. Display. Ah, there we go. Easy fix. Alright, so this is the Blood Raven's emblem. So I figure that I can probably just maybe do like a sort of a half circle right here, and then the tricky part I think will be the blood drop shape, because for that I'm gonna need, once I have the actual shape all set up, I'll have to do the black first, and then the red will have to sit on top of that and be visible, which is going to be tricky. Probably the best way to do it will be to try and put a white base on top of it, like a white droplet shape, and then paint over that. We'll see. We'll see. It's an opportunity to experiment a little bit. So let's start with the brown. We don't need it to be real thick or anything. Alright. So really I'm just going to do a straight up half circle. The other thing that I gotta figure out is like the right size, you know? So if you look at it kind of in the image, the emblem is really kind of blocking out the last half mostly of the pad. And then I have to keep it super simple because I'm a completely inexperienced freehander. So I'm not going to try and have like a defined tail. I'm just gonna go have the semicircle, and we'll just try to isolate a few feathers on each side and call it good. Alright. So there's a starting point, you know. I'll let that, I don't know, do I need to let it dry? Or is it better to work on it now? I feel like if I try to work on it while it's still wet, I'm just going to be kind of mixing the lighter color into the dark one and making something in the middle instead of bringing back the light undercolor that I need. So I'm going to let it dry a little bit, and we're going to go to the pouches down here. Not sure. This thing's got just too much water on it. part of me also wants to do something different. Like there's a separate piece to this holster down at the bottom that I feel like could be like a metal cap, you know, like a reinforced plate to give it a little more structure. So maybe I'll come and paint that metallic. I don't know. It's the fun thing is you can just kind of do whatever you want. Yeah, it's a little something. Picked up fluorescent paint to use for our Necron glows. So when we get to them, we'll have a nice fun color to hit them with. I'm feeling pretty amped about the hobby right now. Enjoying myself, ready to keep enjoying myself. That might be a little too low. Oh, that's also very not straight. See, that's gonna be real tricky, is making it straight. Yeah, honestly, even just having this one little shape blocked in on the shoulders is instantly more interesting to look at. I hope that never gets old. Just, you know, each little part that gets added, each new color layered on, just making it feel a little bit more alive. Okay, that's a pretty even line there. this brush kind of bowls out a lot when I'm applying this. I might actually try it to bust out the smaller brush. I don't know if I'll bother on these guys, but on future models I do want to try and have some more detail on those purity seals. Little minute script on them. Let's see, he's got all the brown that he's gonna need for now. Alright. Let's switch to the other brush here for Sergeant Solloch. Excuse me. Which reminds me, we do have a little bit more. Oh, what's that, pup? Hmm? What is it, sweetheart? You're okay. Yeah. Minna's been napping all day, so now she's got things to say. Oh, you're alright, pup. It's okay. Alright, so let's get a little bit of paint on there. Alright, so yeah, I did prepare a little bit more of a background here on Sergeant Solloch. Sergeant Solloch. And his squad. Well, mostly him though. I decided that Sergeant Solloch was part of the Dark Crusade, which was the expansion campaign from the Dawn of War game. Man, what a bummer that that's a remaster, not a new game. I mean, I'm stoked. I still play the original Dawn of War, so I will get my money's worth out of a remaster. But a new edition would have been awesome. But yeah, so Sergeant Solloch was a battle brother at the time of the Dark Crusade, an assault marine of the 2nd Company, among those who fought on the surface of Cronus. And towards the end of the Dark Crusade, he joined the task force that infiltrated the massive labyrinthine tomb complex under the surface of the planet, where the Necron army was awakening. And there, where the Blood Ravens secured their final victory against the Necrons by deploying a massive plasma bomb that destroyed all of their self-repair infrastructure and collapsed the catacomb complex, sealing them under the surface forever. Sergeant Solloch Battle Brother Solloch at the time joined his squad, and he gave his arm during that battle, defending his brothers from an ambush from Necron wraiths, which are not in the game anymore, sadly. I mean, they're in Dark Crusade, of course, but not in the tabletop. They've been replaced by the Canoptic Wraith, which is somewhat different. Not as spooky, in my opinion. But in doing so, he forged some strong bonds and helped contribute to the Blood Ravens' victory on Cronus and the Second Company's adoption of the motto, "Victory over Death." Sadly, none of the brothers that Solloch fought alongside on Cronus lived to the end of the Crusades in the Aurelia sector, where the Blood Ravens' homeworld, which had been lost for centuries, had reappeared, corrupted by chaos, and the brutal campaigns that followed took the lives of all of his brothers who served in the Cronus campaign. And claimed a lot of the chapter, as a matter of fact. Almost half of the Blood Ravens, I've already mentioned before, were destroyed in the Aurelian Crusades. And so in this situation where the chapter was depleted and desperate for leadership, Solloch gained his first command as sergeant. And now he leads that squad, commonly assigned the name Aurora, in missions across the Imperium Nihilus. They have a reputation for being swift and effective, cunning warriors. Surprisingly so for Marines who are so often just in the melee of close combat, the chaos and confusion of it. They are notably level-headed and capable. And so, yes, in the following decades, however much time has passed since the Imperium Nihilus was born, Squad Aurora has been undertaking many missions, critical scouting missions, throughout the Indominus Crusade, helping to secure the Imperium's foothold across these tenuously held worlds. And that brings us to the situation where I've put all of these starter models, at least the Space Marines and the Necrons, we'll decide later for the Tyranids, but these two groups are facing off now on a planet that I've called Martyr's Hold. Isn't that right, pup? Huh? Yeah. She's like, you've acknowledged me, but we're not like doing anything that I want to do. I'm confused. You're okay, Puffer Dog. Alright. That is probably not big enough for this guy. We need to push this a little further out. Yeah, eyeballing this stuff is probably going to drive me crazy. Much as I enjoy painting, I am not really a freehander. You know, I like just working with the panels and the lines that are given to me instead of coming up with new ones. But I'll try anything. Try anything once, you know? Let's see, I feel like we can... Well, for one thing, I definitely did not hit everybody with the actual leather parts that I planned on, so... Oh, I see. Yeah, it's just, there's such a small area that I can hold the model on the camera and have it be clearly visible. So we'll see how the much hyped Squad Aurora performs when it's finally time to deploy some miniatures. I don't have terribly good luck on the battlefield. I'd say at this point I've played at least a dozen games of 10th edition, and I've won maybe 2 of them. So there's a combination there of luck and skill. Typically they've both been kind of shy around me. I did have a game yesterday. It was Necrons. I should point out that this was online. I was using Tabletop Simulator. But yeah, I was playing a game as Necrons against the new Emperor's Children Chaos Army, and we were rolling some crazy saves. That whole game, non-stop stuff that should have been plastered off the board would just say, nope, I'm gonna make my save, impossible as it might seem. So that was rad. Alright. Let's try now to do this white. This is going to be the white of their eyes. other tricky thing is there's so many techniques, different approaches to painting the same little parts of these models. It's hard to decide which one is your style and your skill level. Like with Dungeons and Dragons miniatures, I honestly wouldn't dream of trying to paint their eyes, you know, because it's not like most of them are wearing power armor helmets with big honkin' lenses. They've got eyeballs with irises and pupils, and that is not even approaching the realm of my capabilities. So I like the approach where you just kind of paint in their eyes black, and it's, you know, it looks kind of like a shadow, and call it good. And I think it looks good too. It's a neat effect. I think that it does lend itself to kind of a certain tone of miniature and paint job that I don't know if it's always suited for what I work on, but it's easy, and I like that. Alright, so I'm gonna get in real close here. Real close. We don't want this to go anywhere else. But see, there it goes. It ran. Immediately it ran, and I don't have anything that I can do about that, and that's really frustrating. Like, does it just mean that I had too much paint on there? I'm gonna have to come back and fix it somehow. And that's kind of what happened with the first guy. I didn't necessarily want to do the glow all over like I did, but the paint ran into all the spaces, and so that's what happened. And that's what's happening with this guy. It's not terrible. It's definitely not good, though. You know, it's generally the shape of the eye, which is pretty important. And I can still play off that, but see, what this really needs is just a second Velcro strip. Not that that's anything for you to worry about. What the heck? Oh, there she goes. Hey.
Okay, I'm taking some dinner to Al's
Okay.
Can we do that later?
Maybe. What time is it? It's 9 now. We'll see.
Should I bring my dog, or?
That's. I'll leave that up to you. She's fine hanging out here, but I'm sure Nate and Allison would be happy to see her too. Okay. Let's see here.
Hey, chat.
There's nobody in chat. Alright, let's see if this stays up this time. first guy, and he looks kind of silly. Like that. I assume that part of the solution is to have the paint be a little thicker instead of thinner, but if it's too thick, that will also look very bad. So, is there an answer? I don't know. Maybe we'll find it out. We've got 3 other guys to, practice on. This grip is nice. Okay, we like this. We like this brush. This is 3 over... how do you even describe these? 3 over 0? 3-0 brush? I don't know. Let's see if I can... Camera. Alright, so what seems to be working here is that, for one thing, this is a very fine tip brush, but also I've gotten most of the paint off the brush and just repeated passes here to build up the color. Boom. That looks menacing. I feel like it's kind of small though, Like it hasn't spilled over, which is exactly what I want, but like the actual real estate for the eye is really small to create a noticeable effect on. So I guess we'll just have to see as we come back for those later passes. I see it, pup. She wants her Kong bone filled up with a dentist stick, but it's not quite time yet. It's sort of the bedtime ritual. So I feel like a lot of time has passed, but also I know that this stream has started a little late, and it was delayed. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna get into all the details here because this isn't like a personal drama dump or nothing, but a pet in our family passed away this week, and so that was on Wednesday, and so there was no stream happening that day. Wow, I love this brush. So, oh, this is the brush. Fun little moment of sabotage. I just mentioned that Minna has her Kong bone, which is like, a rubber material that she was carrying around because she wanted it filled up. And apparently she dropped it right in front of the garage door while my wife was in the garage. So when she tried to come back in, the rubber acted like a doorstop on the floor and kept the door from opening. So she locked her out. Had to go and open it up for her. She's a funny, clueless pup. Alright. Yeah, this really just takes a few passes to build up a white core here. Now, the trick is when they've got funky body shapes like this. I'm not sure how well I can work around his arms stuck out in front of his face like this. Opa. I also don't want the brush bristles to dry out and split. But yeah, just going in with the very tip here. Ba-boom. Sarge's eyes are locked in. Okay, honestly, I feel like this brush might be useful for fixing up the whatchamacallit, the chapter emblem. Oof. This brown came out awfully strong. Kind of fighting with the shading a little bit. So, might have to dial that back. Now, realistically, I think that I left a lot of color on, or rather, a lot of absence of color, really, the black on the top of the plasma coil here. Let's see. But I think realistically, probably the whole thing needs a white coat. And then it just needs to be brightest down at the bottom. Because the whole thing is, a glowing apparatus. And my tool for the glow is going to be this contrast paint that I have. So it's not really going to do anything over the black. Cool, cool, cool. So now I'm going to go ahead and try this effect on our first test boy. Honestly, he should get a name too. But I'm not going to come up with one on the spot. But as the very first of these, this new generation of my hobby marines, and all my models, really. He deserves a name. Mm. The issue that I am beginning to see here is that this brush tip is so thin, holds very little paint, and so it dries out very quickly. Opa! I just stabbed him in his eye. Let's see if I can scoop any of that off. I'll spread it around a little bit. That's not the worst, except if it ends up on his helmet. Son of a gun. Oh, he's coming off of this base. These are all, these starter box minis are all push fit, and I didn't glue any of them down to their bases because I wanted them to be able to come off if I decided to do anything later on, any special basing or whatever. So some of them will start to eke off a little bit now and then. Alright. So I feel like now that I'm using this brush, it's a good opportunity to try to pick out these shapes for the emblem. So the main brush that I was using was a size 1. Then I also pulled over here the 2, 0, and then the one that was doing crazy work on the eyes was the 3, 0. I don't really like having a whole bunch of them out at once, so I'm gonna mix them up, I'm sure. Okay, oh, I didn't actually put any, well, no, I did, I got this out because I wanted to do, there's a little bit more brown I think we should do. Which is going to be kind of for the raven's head. Some of the images have the raven head kind of facing the front of the shoulder pad. That's not going to be for me. Well, maybe. No, I kind of like the ones where it's the raven head is pointed straight up. And so that's what I'm going to do. So we do a teeny tiny circle and then point for a beak. everybody's gonna get that treatment. We do. What is happening? So these guys are approaching completion here. I kind of, it was a little bit one of those things where the longer I talked, the less done they were. It's like, oh, let's do this little thing and that little thing. But real talk, they are pretty close to being finished. And after them, I think next I'm going to I'm going to continue Space Marines. And I think I'm going to jump into the Salamanders, who are the Infernus Squad, which is 10 Marines with flamethrowers, pyre blasters, as they call them. I'll probably be a little bit less detailed, giving them background, just because the Salamanders are a very well established official Space Marine chapter, and personally I don't get much out of stepping on those toes. I like to let the official stuff be as it is and create my own spaces, which is why I don't often use the official factions and color schemes. But we'll do something, for background as to how this unit of salamanders was separated from the rest of the chapter in Imperium Nihilus and came to be at Martyr's Hold. Look at that. They get a little better every time. Look at that. Little head, little beak. He's gonna be proper cute when he's done. Yeah. I don't have all of the Space Marine models primed, so there's a possibility that I won't be able to start on them until the next stream, because I'll need to take an opportunity to prime the remaining ones. I think there's like 5 that are still unprimed, and then once I've got that going, I'm gonna, of course, take the opportunity to prime some of the other stuff that I have still sitting aside, which is mostly Space Marine stuff at this point. All the Necrons are done. I think there's just a couple of Tyranid monsters that I need to prime, but all of the infantry is primed and ready. So that will definitely probably turn into a big priming session, and then I'm not gonna sit down and paint on the same day, I don't think. So then probably on the next stream, all of the Infernus Marines will be primed and ready, and I can just launch into them. I'm very curious. I have a lot of green paints because of some other models that I've picked up in the past, and so I'm very curious how I'm going to achieve my salamander green. It's very important to me that they don't end up looking like dark angels, because I don't respect the dark angels. But oh no. There's like way too much water here. There's not. Where did I put the frickin' paint? Oh, it's over here. The way stuff just disappears on a hobby table. Just moments after using it. You just put it down somewhere and just forget. Try and get that to the right consistency. In uploading the YouTube video from the last stream, it was clear that when I did fix the audio, it was still really quiet. And I know that that's partly just because I'm really quiet, but I did make some changes to the settings this time, so hopefully it's a little louder and easier to hear. Let's come here to our Blood Raven emblem and see what we can achieve. So yeah, let's pop over here real quick. Okay, it remembers where I was. That's good. So yeah, you can see there's this version here with the Raven facing front, but you know, now that I'm looking at it, it looks like most of them show the Raven with the head pointed straight up. So I think I made the right call there. It would be really nice if I could kind of accomplish this sort of sweeping shape that the feathers have. That might be a tall order. I don't know. I'm not even sure how many feathers I'll be able to pick out here, really. But we'll try it out. So I'm going to start on the first one with the 2-0 brush. So just load it up here. Pull some of that paint off. What I'm hopeful is that I can make the complete shape of the Raven using this brown base, and then go back over it with white, or not with white, I'm sorry, with black, once the shape is completely done. The impression that I'm getting from these first couple of strokes is that a wing of individual feathers might be a bit of a tall order. It might be that I have to do like just a tail and a wing. And then we'll get the basic raven shape, hopefully where I can stand to look at it, and then cover it with black, and then figure out how to add on the blood droplet. Definitely getting a greater appreciation though for just the simple power of layering. It doesn't really come across when you're just covering large plates and things, other than oh, this is getting darker and this is getting lighter. But when I'm doing the eyes, or when I'm working on this this emblem, it's really it's making the shapes happen. I do one layer and it's not super apparent. It just looks like I made a light smudge on it. But then you do another layer and suddenly it's more solid, more defined. Oh, maybe that's the trick. Just kind of doing some little flicks at the edge of the wing to suggest the feathers reaching out from it. So the main things with this thing is I want it to be clear there's a head, wings, tail, and blood drop. And then of course the compromise there for that blood drop is the body has to be big enough to contain that shape. So I do think that it was the right move though to start with this brown color, because I think I'll be better situated to kind of trace over this with black when the time comes than I would be if I had to just make the shapes with black and then try to layer on the white afterward. Alright, so probably about 3 feathers is the most I'm gonna reasonably accomplish here. I think my stream related tasks for the next session or two is going to be figuring out a music situation, because it's not fun to paint in complete silence. It's probably not much fun to watch either. So, something that will feel tasteful enough. And not have the stream or the video copyright stricken immediately. Doo-doo-doo. Yeah, just another second pass here, and those are already looking much more bird-like. And I am a flightless bird. I feel like this whole spot is really dried out for no reason. More feather work here for the sarge. Too much paint in this brush. Alright, I did not count on such a small seeming project here taking so much time, and I have to keep reminding myself that I did start later than I normally do. It's probably closer to 8 than the 7 o'clock I aim for. So that makes a difference. Still, I'll probably just go for another 15 minutes or so, 15-20. Oof. Hands feel heavy trying to make these lines. Pretty satisfied with where these ones at. This feels like it's got too much paint. Yeah, that one's gonna need some more work. And too much water in that brush. I need to get one of those little texture palette things. It's got like a bunch of bumps and shapes on it so that you can run the brush a pass or two over it before taking it to the model and see that you've got the consistency you want and the color. Look at him. Just me mugging the camera there. Load it up. Wipe it off. This guy is looking a little misshapen. This guy also somehow did not get white on his right eye, so gotta fix that. Alright, let's see if I can still do it half an hour later. I wonder if the lighting deceived me. I apparently don't have any more paint on that brush. Okay, what's going on here? paint is drying out before it hits the model. There we go. So tricky. Let's go back up a level here and try to reposition some of this. This, I think, looks a little bit more uneven than it is. Or at least then it will be. This is mostly because this left side has not been touched really by the bone white again, and it needs to be. Before I finish, I do want to have a go with the effects paint. I don't know if it's supposed to be watered down or anything. I am gonna water it down just in case. Because I do want to make sure it kind of goes into, you know, the recesses of the blades. Yeah, this is like really, I don't know, bright. It's not really reading as blood for me. But we'll see, maybe it just needs a chance to dry. that's one of the things that I'm looking forward to with the new round of miniatures is experimenting with some effects, some splatters, and ichor, and probably not gonna go as far as like guts and stuff, but getting some lighting and gems and crystals, power sources. I think that's good. I'm gonna let that dry and see how it looks. Oh geez. But I think that's all that we're gonna do for now. Been at it about 2 hours. I think that's good. And then hopefully coming back for the next stream Wednesday. That's the plan. Is that the 3rd or 4th? So I don't foresee any issues there. And then these guys will be done or almost done. Can share a little progress report on them. And hopefully, launch into the salamanders. Definitely gonna be trying to do some big lighting effects on them. Have their flamethrowers illuminating them as they purge Xenos abominations. Also hoping by then to have some of the some non-starter box minis ready to go. Got a number of Games Workshop minis that I think are about ready to come out of their boxes, and some 3D prints as well. So we'll see what's available and how much we can get done before then. But yeah, this has been good. It's good to be back in the hobby. It's good to be having stories to tell and cool figures to paint. And I'm looking forward to doing more of it. And hopefully you'll join in next time. But thanks for tuning in for this one. Catch you later.